and Mr. Donald Bremner, Chief Operations Officer at RAK Hospitality. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the heart of RAK.
Thank you.
So, we're going to have a conversation today about a few things that you are all involved in. So, Abdullah, I start with you. First of all, RAK's master plan is a very ambitious and forward-thinking project. Can you share a few of the key projects that embody the vision of creating a truly exceptional quality of life for residents?
Look, when we look at the master plan in the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah, let us start with the pillars of the master plan. I think the pillars of the master plan in the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah focus on 5 elements. We promote livability. That's the subject that we are all here today. We enable connections between all parts of the city. We, at the same time, enhance education. While doing all of that, at the same time, we prioritize ecology. And that's what established Ras Al Khaimah identity. So the identity of the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah is focused on promoting livability, promoting connections, enabling all community members to be part of the city itself. And that's where we take all our master plans all over. And that you can see it all over from all of the, I have to say, master plans that has been created for the Emirate in starting from Al Hamra, moving toward Marjan, going toward RAK Central and Sector 6 and Beach District. In all these elements, we focus on livability as a concept. Livability is in the heart because the community is the one who is, I have to say, enjoying the atmosphere inside the city. They are the heartbeat of the city. They focus on elements that they needed for themselves, for their kids, for the residents, for the tourists, for all segments of the community.
Thank you. Dr. Natasha, so the Sheikh Saud bin Saqr Al-Qasimi Foundation for Policy Research has been instrumental in providing data-driven insights to support Ras Al Khaimah's development. Can you share specific examples of community-related initiatives that the foundation has organized that directly contribute to enhancing the Emirate's livability, as it is the topic of today, and what strategic approach guided these initiatives?
Okay, it's a big question, Rouba, so I'll try to keep the answer short. But for the Al Qasimi Foundation, our focus really is on community and on making Ras Al Khaimah a livable community for everybody. So we begin our approaches really by looking at where do we see gaps or silences, or where are areas where we haven't seen a lot of work before. And then we focus in on those, we do a research paper, we talk with our main stakeholders, and we then come up with some plans to address, to help Ras Al Khaimah residents really, live better, more full lives. So one example recently, we did a big study on aging, and which is quite different to what you see around the UAE. There's other foci, and we discovered that actually we didn't have a lot of things in place in Ras Al Khaimah for our elderly population, for those who are retiring, for those who are in different stage of life. So we've been partnering with a centre here. We've refurbished a centre. We've organised trips now to other Emirates. We're really focusing on health and well-being with RAK Hospital and with Ubaydallah Hospital. So really bringing together multiple stakeholders around this issue of ageing well and on what is now more referred to as longevity. And I'll just give one other example, is that we also do community grants. So sometimes organisations, maybe it's a school, maybe it's the Animal Welfare Centre, for example, they need funds for some special project that they can't, just get from their ordinary budget lines. So they will often apply for grants, and that's something we can support them very meaningfully with. For example, at the Animal Welfare Shelter, which wonderful shout out, I think that's like a key to livability in RAK too. Helping them build an extra kennel for the dogs, helping them buy medical equipment to help service the animals. And then just those kind of things that really make a difference that you don't see all the time, but that small organisations, maybe schools, maybe all kinds of things need in order to really serve their community well. So we sort of function, we hope to function in the background, but we really important for us to, if there's areas that aren't being addressed, to address them.
You had also, there was a campaign that they did, Pause for Pause.
That's right,
Yeah, it
yes,
was wonderful.
yes, it really
I think a lot of adoptions came out of that one.
It did, and they're doing amazing work.
So Donald, RAK Hospitality is at the forefront of hospitality developments in the Emirate. Can you elaborate on some of the exciting upcoming projects and how they're designed not just to attract tourists, but also to enhance the overall livability experience for the residents of Ras Al Khaimah?
I don't know if you know, we're building a really big hotel called the Win. So that's kind of changed quite a lot of the focus that we have in hospitality sector. And one of the problems that we have to solve is the gap between who we are today and who we will be in 2 or 3 years' time from now when Win opens. It's a changing demographics, it's a changing tourism ecosystem, it's a different type of customer that's going to be coming to the Emirate. And what is true today will not be true in 2 or 3 years' time from now. So we have to bridge that gap. We have to bridge the gap for tourists from an all-inclusive styled destination to a high discretionary spend destination, and consequently for the local population, for the people that live here. So there's 2 areas outside of hospitality. So we're developing lots of hotels, we're developing the Win, and we'll talk about some of the livability improvements that those projects will create for us as residents of Ras Al Khaimah in a second. But the adjacency to that is creating activities, creating things for people to do, people being tourists and residents. And I think they come in 2 zones, and they have to be timed so that they can be successful with this growing and changing economy. So the first, and I'm bored quite a lot of people talking about this over the last few months, is our 7 Wonders concept. So 2 weeks ago we held what was our showcase event for Ras Al Khaimah in Ritz-Carlton Al Wadi. It was a 1,000-person event with an A-lister DJ, but more importantly, it was a show. It was a destinational driving attraction, and that generated 45 million views globally for Ras Al Khaimah, which is more than we've ever had before. More importantly, it sets a platform for us to create a stage of events, and what events mean. And events inherently are about quality of life. Events are, you've got the outcomes of events, you've got swift economics, you've got all of these kind of economic drivers of what events can do for population and filling restaurants and filling hotels and everything else. But at their heart, events are culture enhancers, endorsers, addendums. They shape culture. They take what already exists and they bring people with imagination, with creativity, with different perspectives, and they bring them together and they put all of these wonderful people in the same place and they ask them to connect with one another. And that is tourists coming into a destination, and that is the local population. And they mingle, and they inspire one another, they tell stories to one another, they share experiences with one another. And the ambition is to expand on that diversity of product. So this was a DJ-styled event, which is not everyone's cup of tea. But the 7 Wonders is about showcasing multiple different genres to multiple different members of our community and multiple different future tourist visitors that will be coming into the destination. So there can be classical concerts. Hopefully we'll be partnering with Al Qasimi Foundation, who do amazing work. There will be rock concerts. So one of the hopes and dreams is a launch festival or an opening season festival for Jebel Jais, where we can do a rock concert, 2-day festival open up all of the activities that we have planned on JACE so that people can congregate and come together and experience the wonderful activities and projects that Ras Al Khaimah has to offer. So there's the umbrella of events. I won't talk too much longer. Normally I have to get my ring a bell when I speak too much. The other one is obviously...
Ding dong.
I'll stop now.
No, but these are all amazing initiatives that I'm sure people would love to hear about. So thank you. There'll be more. You will get a chance to tell us a bit more about, especially JACE. I think everyone's excited about that area. So back to you, Your Excellency Abdullah. Public spaces play a vital role in fostering community and well-being. What are some innovative ways that RAK is designing these public spaces, and I know you're involved on a lot of them, to enhance livability and create a vibrant social fabric, bring the community together?
Look, I think today the trend on public spaces is not just only green areas. It's more than that. It's the activities that's happening over there. It's where you can get the community to gather and celebrate events, activities happening over there. When you look at the future of the cities and the future of the master plans, globally, I have to say, and Ras Al Khaimah is part of that, you see that people are fed up with a single use of spaces. So today you are no longer even seeing cities designing as a single use, whether it is financial city, it's a healthcare city, or it is all of that. We see a trend that people would like to live at the place that they want to work, at the place they want to play. And this is where Ras Al Khaimah is heading at as well, where you need to have a community that is engaging its members to a space. And that is the trend that we are designing in all our master plans today in the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah. So when you look at the master plans right now in Ras Al Khaimah and the future, what's coming in all our new, it's the area where people are working, it's the area where people are engaging. So it's the future of all the master plans. Let us look at one example, and today we are always focusing on healthcare, but moving toward the future is not about healthcare, it's about healthy communities. It's providing all of the necessities that we require in all our master plan, whether it is a jogging track, whether it is a cycling track, whether it is an event space, whether it is a green area, which it's a community space. So seeing all of that in one master plan together, that's where the public spaces are heading in the future, and that's what we are designing right now for the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah. In all our new master plans, even the existing ones, we are upgrading the infrastructure, whether it is the main roads, whether it is the inner roads in the Emirate, where we are focusing on all these elements. We need to have cycling tracks. We need to have jogging tracks all over the Emirates, and we need to enable the community to be part of all of these, I have to say, community spaces.
And Ras Al Khaimah is a very outdoors emirate. People are always outdoors. I see them even in summer. So yeah, this would be great. I'll meet you on the cycling track. So Dr. Natasha, culture and education are key pillars of a thriving community. And I know that we also, Ras Al Khaimah saw the Department of Knowledge get established this year, earlier actually, last year. And they've done some great work. Yes. But also from your side, what ongoing or planned projects by the foundation in the coming years specifically address these areas? And how do you envision these projects further enriching the quality of life for residents of the Emirate?
Thank you. Yes, I think I'll talk mainly now around the arts, because Steve and his team are doing some amazing things over there. Work at the Department of Knowledge on education and leaps and bounds, as you say, in our system. But as many of you will know, I hope all of you will know, that our key or signature event every year is the Ras Al Khaimah Fine Arts Festival, now the RAK Art Festival. And this is now 13 years old, and last year we had over 30,000 unique visitors to the festival, which was running all through the month of February. But we've expanded that offering because we really believe that arts and culture should be for everyone. So our big focus is democratization of the arts. So that shouldn't just be for, that if I understand what is art and art history, and if I know the Tate Modern and I know my artist, which I love as well, but how do we help everyone become part of the arts? How do everyone appreciate art? So that's a big focus for us. And now we've expanded our programming year-round. So we have, every month we have different workshops going on, not just in Ras Al Khaimah now, but we're also taking those workshops to Dubai, we're taking those workshops to Abu Dhabi, because we want to showcase what we have in those Emirates so that we will then draw them back to here for our signature event later in the year for the festival. Amazing. And so this is really important for us, having RAK Art as a festival where we can start bringing in people from all over the UAE, but also internationally. So we have artists coming from all over the world, we have guest speakers, we have workshops. Coming up, excitingly, for next year's festival, we have a pop-up, we're doing a lot of pop-up restaurants now in line with our wonderful colleagues at RAK Hospitality, but a restaurant from Cape Town called Belly of the Beast, which is one of the leading restaurants in Cape Town. They're coming to do a 3-day pop-up. Last year we had the Brazilian celebrity chef Jefferson Finger come and do a pop-up as well. So we're trying to expand the arts into dining as well, and then also, as Donald mentioned, concerts. We've been activating the Al Jazeera Al Hamra Heritage Site. If you haven't been, please come down. It's amazing. His Highness Sheikh Saud has put in so much effort to make this an amazing site. But part of activating that, in addition to school programs and volunteer programs, are concerts. So we're hosting our first concert with Candlelight this weekend, but then we'll be bringing more of them open to the public. So we're very, very excited about bringing more events in collaboration with RAK Hospitality and Marjan, who's also a great supporter, but also in helping everyone, whether they're a school child or whether they're, whatever age, whatever stage, whatever background, that they can come, walk around the site, get some exercise, as Abdullah says, and enjoy the art as well.
Get your steps in.
That's right.
So, Donald, beyond simply providing accommodation, how does the hospitality and tourism sector, in your opinion, contribute to the broader placemaking agenda and create a more vibrant, desirable community for everyone in the Emirate?
So the obvious answer is the product that sits inside the hotels. So Wynn has the case studies, 26 restaurants, a theatre, nightclubs, day clubs, beach clubs, retail. So by building and investing in that project, we're naturally expanding the offering that's in the Emirate. And then the other tripling of hotels that's going to happen over the next 7 or 8 years, they will all have product and they will all try to differentiate themselves, whether it's sports facilities, whether it's leisure facilities, entertainment facilities. So the hospitality projects, the hotels themselves, by way of their buildings and their businesses, are going to increase the amount of things that are available for people to do that are living in RAK and go and spend time in. Similarly, the changing demographic means that the hotel guests that are coming to the destination are changing to people that want to experience the destination. So we've got this switch from all-inclusive kind of closed-in society or community of visitors that are staying in the Rixos or the Doubletree or others where they're spending most of their time in maybe a one-day trip, to a customer that is wanting to understand what the deeper cultures are of the Emirate, of the destination that they're visiting. They're more inquisitive. They're more keen to explore and to experience. And so in order for us as the tourism industry to satisfy that demand, we need to make sure that we've developed the products that they want to go and see. And those can be fun things like zip lines or paragliding or etc. But they're also cultural. And so the increased foreign investment, tourism dollar that's coming into the destination will help us support things like Al Jazeera Al Hamra, or help us support the discovery, renovation, openness of the cultural heritage sites that we have in Ras Al Khaimah. So they're very symbiotic, and I think both help each other.
It's an ecosystem, I think, it infuses each other. Thank you. So with the influx of all of these new residents and a steadily growing population, as we know, How is Ras Al Khaimah ensuring that the development of residential projects actually aligns with the Emirate's commitment to sustainability? And I know you touched on that earlier, and preserving its unique cultural heritage. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more details on that front.
Look, I believe, sustainability is the heart of all our master plans. And when we look at all developments across the whole Emirate, two main elements we are focusing on, especially when it comes to reclaimed islands, when it comes to all of these new, I have to say, additions of land that we are doing right now. Number one is water circulation. Number two is ensuring that whatever we do is not impacting the marine ecology and is not impacting the marine life. And this is where, when we do all of these master plans, our focus is always to focus on the environmental studies and to ensure that, I have to say, to ensure that whatever we do doesn't harm the environment, doesn't harm the nature. At the same time, we are blessed that we are manufacturing Emirate. We are blessed that all of the materials are being from the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah. We are inspired by the land. It is in our root. That's our slogan that we do. But most of the materials, if you look, for example, in building materials coming from Ras Al Khaimah, the cement factories, Stephen Rocker providing us with the white sands and all of the beautiful beaches you are seeing, it's coming from Ras Al Khaimah. When you look at RAK ceramics and their massive products, I have to say, it's coming up to the international level that we are so proud to use them in all our projects. So while doing all of that, we ensure that whatever we do is aligned with the government agenda related to sustainability. That is a critical element when we do all our projects. And that is a strategy that we see it for a future as well. Today, looking at spaces, you'll say, what is the challenge? What is next? It's all about how we can create, from sustainability, the outdoor comfort for public spaces, for all of the community to get engaged in the community, to enjoy the spaces inside the community. So that is our focus, and that is our forward strategy, taking that from the leadership of the Emirate.
I was going to just add a little bit to your question. Beyond the business opportunities which are coming up in magnitude, how are these current initiatives supporting the development of new residential spaces and community centers that also enhance the livability and quality of life aspect?
So when we speak about livability in all these and in all these new master plans, especially with the growth that we are seeing in the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah, today we are seeing new launches here in Mina Al Arab, in Al Hamra, in Al Marjan Island, hopefully in RAK Central and Beach District. In all these master plans, we ensure that we satisfy the needs for all community members. And when we speak about satisfying the needs, it's not just only the space that they occupy, but it's also the needs from the surrounding elements. It's from the community facilities that we are creating for the public, whether it is outdoor areas, spaces, soccer areas, football stadiums, all of that. This is part of our master plan. And this is where we believe we need to fill that gap that we do have right now in the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah. And that gap can start from spaces all the way to projects and developments, I have to say. And this is where we as Marjan, addressing that gap, we identify what do we need as an Emirate, what is required in the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah. There is a residential gap, there is a hospitality gap, but more than that, there is a need for grade A office space, there is a need for staff accommodation, there is a need for labor accommodation. How Marjan can address that with the community, how we can ensure when we do our master plans, especially when it comes to livability, that we ensure that we have a healthy community and there is less traffic on road, how we can be efficient when we design our master plans, so we don't have that 7-lane boulevard highway that cuts the city in half, and then no one is going in the middle. How we can ensure that our master plans, our communities are engaged together, so there are good products between Mina, between Al Hamra, between Marjan, but how we connect all of them together. That's part of livability, and that's part of our role, not just focusing on a single-use development, but it's more than creating of a community and a city that speaks to each other.
Brilliant. It's something to look forward to. And is there a timeline in view, by the way?
I think the infrastructure of, I have to say, the main roads are coming in the next 2 to 3 years. It's being designed right now by the municipality with the consultants. I believe awarding the infrastructure for E11 will be hopefully in the beginning of 2025. So I believe over the next 2 years, a lot of construction activities, you will see it on the main roads in order to enhance the livability aspect, I have to say, and to ensure that whatever we do right now gonna align with what's coming up in 2027.
يعطيكم العافية.
Allah yafi.
So Dr. Natasha, looking ahead, what are some of the key challenges, but also opportunities, that the Foundation anticipates in its efforts to support Ras Al Khaimah's continued journey towards becoming a leading livability destination? And how will the Foundation's work evolve to meet these future needs?
So I'm a firm believer that every challenge in itself presents an opportunity. So I think they're a bit of both. But I think for the Foundation, our job from the very beginning, our vision from His Highness Sheikh Saud was to bring communities together. And in particular to ensure that in Ras Al Khaimah we were a community where Emiratis and expatriates blended together, and expatriate groups themselves also mixed with other expatriate groups. So I think the biggest challenge, I guess, for us going forward is, as we have all these new developments and as we bring in a lot of people from elsewhere, how do we ensure that we're still having this connectivity that everybody has spoken about? You know that when you go into Falafel Abu Naim, somebody pays for your falafel because you're a visitor. These are the things that have happened to my guests. So for me and for the Foundation, I want to ensure that we are still amplifying not just the voices of Emiratis and the future for Emiratis in the Emirate, but how do we continue to bring together so that we don't become like other places where people are very much in separate silos. And I think why people love Ras Al Khaimah is because they do interact so much with the Emirati community and with each other. It's not siloed. And so for me, that's a really big challenge, like something to keep for the Foundation that we want to keep in mind. And also thinking about, like, as we develop these, again, bigger developments, how do we also service the needs of long-term residents? I think for us, this is also very important. We bring people in to live, but we want to make sure that they stay. And so what other things do we need to do as a foundation? Is it for teachers so that we attract but we retain teachers? Is it for employment? How do we have more employment opportunities in the Emirates so that we don't have a brain drain to other Emirates, which is, is currently a bit of a challenge? And I think that's for us the big thing. How do we keep expanding community involvement, keep bringing people in, keep bringing people together, and just keeping that real authenticity, which is the word I always hear when people ask about Ras Al Khaimah. It's so authentic. It's
Absolutely.
real. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's for us the big focus going forward.
Completely agree with you. And I feel that people, when they move here, they don't want to leave. They just love it. It's like if they leave, it'll be because they're going back to home. Thank you, Dr. Natasha. So Donald, from a livability perspective, because again, it is the theme of the day, what truly sets Ras Al Khaimah apart from other destinations, and how can the hospitality industry leverage these unique attributes to further elevate the Emirates' reputation as a premier place to live, work, and visit? Experience, thrive, and belong, I shall add.
So, to echo Dr. Natasha's comment, I've lived in the UAE now for 18 years, and I moved to Ras Al Khaimah 3 years ago. My children were born here. They are Chinese-American heritage, so they're about as mixed as you could possibly make them. When we moved here, my son joined the school, and as teenage kids tend to do. He spent quite a lot of time shouting down a microphone at his friends while playing video games. And he was calling out the names of his friends, and I thought he was still connected to the people that he was at school with in Dubai. And so when I asked him who was that, he said, oh, it's Ahmed, or it's Mohammed, or it's... I said, is that your friends from Dubai? No, these are my friends from here. I said, where are they from? Emirate. They're Emirati. So I would say 60% of his friends are from the Emirates, which is so different from what we've experienced before in Dubai. As Dr. Natasha said, the kind of separation of communities is much more profound in other Emirates. Here, it's totally integrated. And as a result of that, their sense of belonging is much stronger and much more organic. They feel like home here. Their friends are from here. They've got, and as well as other members of communities and societies. So I think that kind of is foundational to what I've appreciated the most coming here and the difference of experience. Another example, using my children to kind of guide my ideas. We took a drive up Jebel Jais one morning for a walk. And we had, we'd done our 6-mile hike. We come off the mountain. We're driving back towards Ras Al Khaimah, and you've got this monstrous building happening on the right. And my son Hamish, if you have a Chinese American child, you have to call him Hamish. My son Hamish said, "Dad, you know what's going to be really good about here? Is you can do all of that, all of this first world, 26 restaurants, nightclubs, etc. And 20 minutes later, you can go for a hike in Jebel Jais." And so that kind of connectivity of societies and that connectivity of interests, I think, is what sets our Emirate apart, and I think it sets it apart from a lot of places in the world, and it makes it a privilege to live in.
You have a very wise son. So that cues in the next question, which I'd like to ask all three of you, please. And this one is about the community field as well. But in your opinion, wanted to know more about what are the makings of a lively community, and what makes the Ras Al Khaimah community different than others? So, start with you, Abdullah.
I believe the community in Ras Al Khaimah, you can have the feel of authentic community. You can feel the Emirati traditions. I mean, comparing to other regional, I have to say, cities, I mean, what you can see in Ras Al Khaimah is very authentic. And that's what people like about Ras Al Khaimah. And that's what we always proud at even creating our own cities and master plan. I think what do we have here in Ras Al Khaimah is different. It's unique. It's, I have to say, it is respecting the traditions, but it has also an outlook toward the future. That's what I like about our community. There is a sense of engagement. It is more a welcoming community to the city itself. And that's why people like Ras Al Khaimah. I mean, we have different cultures from all the way, from the mountains to the desert to the sea, and different communities, different tribes. But at the same time, they share the same values. And that's what makes them unique and different. But again, I have to say, with an outlook toward the future.
Progressive yet
progressively
grounded. Deeply
exactly.
rooted. Thank you. Dr. Natasha?
I think for me, like I was telling someone what's so great about Ras Al Khaimah or what makes community here. And I think the main thing for me is the culture and the value of hospitality. And I think for the Arab culture, you maybe don't appreciate it, but that value is lived in across the Arab world, but in particular, I see it in Ras Al Khaimah and the UAE. This culture of hospitality, of making strangers feel welcome, of opening weddings to everyone. I mean, nowhere in the West can you turn up to a wedding with 5 friends that you've just randomly brought along. But in here, come one, come all. The more people you bring to a wedding, the more honor you are actually showing to the party. So I think for us, like creating community is keeping that that openness and that value of hospitality alive, that we don't create exclusive spaces, we don't create all these zones and everything, but we create open spaces and open events and places where people can organically come together, but where this value and this tradition, this amazing, and it's a wonderful thing of hospitality continues to shine. Because I really think if I come away with anything, and every visitor we have says the same, the hospitality that they receive in Ras Al Khaimah from His Highness all the way down to just the person helping them in the shop is like nothing they've ever experienced. So
Yeah, like you said, there are no silos, you know.
Yeah,
it's very well integrated. Agreed.
I would.
Thank you.
I would talk about pride and purpose. I think there's a purposefulness to what we're doing, and I think it's tangible. I think people feel it, and I think it's electric, and I think it inspires and encourages people to do more, to do better. And I think that because of these benefits and joys of living in Ras Al Khaimah, we're proud of where we are, and so we've got this kind of purpose in the future, and then we've got the pride of what we're doing, and so we're personally motivated to do our best to make sure that we achieve the objective. And that happens, I see it, I experience it across all of the entities, all of the people I interact with. And so we have this lovely community of businesses, of government entities, all with the same pride and purpose, all pulling in the same direction, all wanting to achieve the goal. And so when you have a conversation, obviously there's differences of opinions. There's always going to be differences of opinions. But everyone has the same aspiration, and everyone has the same, how can I help? And that, I think, from the business level, the government level, but also the community levels, means that you just get a much warmer feeling about doing what you're doing, and you try that much harder.
There's a lot of synergy in that. I think it makes us stronger collectively.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you to our wonderful speakers for all of the insight that they've shared with us today. And we sincerely thank His Highness Sheikh Saqr bin Saud Al Qasimi for honoring us today. Thank you for being with us. Please let us enjoy a wonderful lunch together that has some infused Emirati dishes with explanations that will explain why they are staples in the culture here.